My first time at the Mandapam Camp was February 2000. I was there with a boatload of people from Mars. And we'd survived the Y2K bug. I'd been hired by Jennifer Tien from Mars to work with CMCRI Mars and PepsiCo. This was my first time to India. I learned that people had been harvesting Gelidiella around this area for many years, as seen here in these ladies in 1987. And again, I was seeing harvesters around there in July later that year. The PepsiCo activities were happening around Crusadai Island at that time. There I saw a really big cottony with a rather distinctive morphology that I've never seen anywhere else before or since. This is what the Mandapam Camp facility of CSMCRI looked like in those days. And on the right, you see where I used to do my emails. A few kilometers away, I'd walk up there and sit at a terminal, and cows and the goats were around for company. I had the pleasure of working with Dr. Gannison from my start of working around there in year 2000. Here we are out in the field, and here we are visiting his family a couple of years later. They were very gracious to me, and I'll never forget the time I spent with the Gannison family. Here we are on the sea, and on the left we see a very young Dr. Shanmugam, just beginning his work with PepsiCo. Again, the boatload of bosses from Mars on the upper right, and ladies planting seaweed as they sit on the seashore. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a boatman, and I saw a lot of interesting boats around this area. And I spent quite a bit of time under the blistering hot sun in some of these boats. I saw some interesting seaweed too. I saw some good, some bad, and some ugly. Anyway, by 2003, production was in full swing. PepsiCo was producing dry, then baled seaweeds by 2003. Then alkali treated and biostimulant products started to be made by Aqua Agri not long after that. Eventually, by 2010, they were joined by other Indian enterprises, including C6 Energy, where I work now. Mainly, I work at PT C6 Energy Indonesia, where we process and farm seaweeds. So we'll let you have a look at that going on. Just sit back and watch as we let the good times roll. At the end of the day, the seaweed's been harvested and it heads off to the factory. So here I'll give you a quick look at the factory that the C6 has in northern Bali. C6 farming and factory operations are developing nicely in the hands of the young. So should this old veteran of the seaweed wars join the throngs of boomer expat retirees, pickling his brain and idling life away? No, not entirely. I'm focusing on two issues. These are key to the long-term well-being of seaweed farming, but are not core to the immediate push into large-scale company farms. Namely, getting affordable data, hitherto unavailable, and meeting sustainable development goals. This provides an enabling environment for thriving seaweed farms into the future. The vision? Well, we need an evidence base evolving and effectively utilized. Ultimately, getting affordable, available, evidence-based biomass solutions. We need ecosystem services to be understood and well managed, resulting in humanity living in harmony with nature. We need ecoscape communities thriving in ecological economies. Poverty alleviated, then prosperity built. Finally, we need ecoscapes thriving under integrated coastal area management so that we have sustainable community development. Solutions from information technologies were in their infancy in Y2K at the little cyber cafe near Mandapam Camp. You could get a dial-up connection at about 600 BPS on a normal day, sometimes not even that. Nowadays, information technology, Internet of Things solutions are proliferating and reducing in price. Increasingly affordable, timely, and accurate data are increasingly becoming achievable. Plus, there's an overwhelming mass of proposed solution frameworks out there so that we can develop collaborations that bring scientific evidence-based solutions to tropical seashores. So, in the big picture, we have to ask the question, is life on Earth a system of ecosystem services provided just to benefit humanity? Well, for humanity, the practical answer to this question is yes. And our role is as stewards of the biomass systems that enable our existence. Phyconomists focus especially on the crucial services enabled by photosynthesis. We concentrate on coastal communities where land and water meet in ecoscapes that are central to human life. We blend sustainable development goals into feasible initiatives, ultimately aiming to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in coastal communities. As seaweed people, we can develop an obsessive monocropping mindset. But we must integrate into coastal area life. Seaweed farms in integrated coastal area management involve a number of interest groups, including aquaculture, fishing and stewardship managers, government, NGO and private enterprises, tourism, recreational, transport and shipping interests, and there will be data swap transactions among intelligence gatherers, kind of a data economy developing. One of the main uses for all of this information is having the ability to track climate change and blue carbon efforts. We speak so much of climate change, but so little of it is being actually measured. Secondly, we can produce bulletins, predictions, and warnings for people who make their living in, on, and around the sea, including, of course, seaweed farmers. We will have multispectral and visible light biomass logging that will make it much easier to keep track of the health of our seaweed crops on farms. Also, mosaic mapping and collaboration tracking that is aided by remote sensing, such as by satellites and drones. Finally, we will have spatial data for plans and operations as integrated coastal area management is undertaken. So please join us in our quest to acquire affordable marine intelligence and get it to seaweed people and others who need it, and to use the data to achieve sustainable development with seaweed as a key biomass contributor. Thanks for watching.